So at this point, I have no agenda with this question. Would you say that you're a Christian?
I sure want to be. From what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, my heart definitely wants to be. I think I'm on a journey to get there.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And my encouragement for you is...
But even beyond the label of am I a Christian, and I want to make this important distinction today, and this worldview may change. Beyond the label of am I a Christian, I don't know if it matters. This is just a personal opinion right here, and I think this could change over time. I don't know if it matters if I am or if I'm not, because if I get to know God through the Word, and I get to know Jesus in the way that he represented and how he interacted with people, and I begin to embody that in my heart, does it even matter if I say I am or if I'm not? Because if my actions represent that I am, does the label even matter? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that does open up another can of worms, but, I'm not here to try to force you to believe.
Yeah.
My prayer is for you to become a Christian. And I do think that there is a sense in which we do want to see just a basic morality throughout all of the earth. But where I'm at in my faith journey, and where I think the scriptures communicate that Jesus says he is the way, the truth, and the life. And so based on what scripture says, and again, someone that's farther along in their spiritual journey, not above you, but just been doing this for longer, just in sheer providence of God's timing in my life, I want to take people not to just moral reform of their life, but specifically to the person of Jesus. Because I do think that it is through him, by all of the earth and the world was created, and it's in him that we find the fullness of life.
Yeah.
So my encouragement to you is, regardless if you call yourself a Christian now, regardless if you ever call yourself a Christian, I want to commend you, because I think your journey and your blueprint of where you hope to find meaning, by what you said of going back to the book, is absolutely what I would encourage you to do. I wouldn't even tell you to follow me. I mean, I'm a mess in so many ways. There's so many areas that I'm growing in and stumbling in. And I think as for the Christian worldview, for people looking for meaning, as you had kind of stated in your journey, the Bible is the place to find that. And I want to be sensitive to, the conversation that there are others that might be on this podcast eventually that would totally disagree with me. And I hope that we can get a meal with them and have coffee with them and talk about the disagreement. And we're not going to be able to hash it all out in one night, right? And so if Jesus doesn't condemn me for my wrongdoing and my unbelief for all of my life, even in the sins that I still commit today, I have abundance of patience for those that I don't see eye to eye with, that I want to have those conversations and those meals with those people, as we kind of spar back and forth, so to speak, conversationally, in a way that's respectful of we all are priceless human lives, in a dialogue that's winsome, and it's not demeaning. It's not looking down on others. So I think what we're talking about is a really hard tension. I mean, in some ways, Jag, we're kind of entering into a space that not a lot of people have done very well. How do you begin to walk into the conversation of objective truth with just absolutely dominating other people, and looking down on other people?
And it's easy to just have that conversation with people that agree with you.
Oh yeah, and then the challenge and just have an echo chamber.
Right. The challenge is in doing it with grace. With those who don't. I want to take a quick bathroom break.
Sweet.
Give us a 1 minute. All right, we're back. So I see this for us as being what I hope is a series of conversations over a long period of time. God willing, we can continue to sit through this and talk about different books and different thoughts and our viewpoints, and most importantly, getting to the origin of those viewpoints, right? I think that's been a big differentiation that we've made today. But as I think about the concept of finding our way, finding my way, where do you start? Because we've talked about our own testimonies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your journey, my journey. It's a big thing to start tackling in your soul and in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had someone reach out to me that's been struggling with some mental health issues recently, and he was thinking about some different ways of going about it, and I just asked him questions, about his concept of God, if he had one. Once he said yeah, but he didn't really know what. I said, well, do you ever pray? And said, yeah, I have, but not much. I said, oh, man, when you lay down tonight or whenever it is, just try talking. This was my thought, right? Just try talking to him. Don't even put a label on it. Just have
Look
a
at you being a
conversation.
spiritual advisor to people right now.
But that's I think, again, to remove the labels and the formality around things and just start that friendship. Start that friendship with God, because that's what it is. As I'm getting to know Him, it's like it's truly a relationship and a friendship. You're talking to somebody that's always with you,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious for you, and as you mentor
Mm-hmm.
folks that come in, where do you start?
Yeah.
And ultimately, how do you learn to pray?
Yeah. It's a great question, man. I think, I'll kind of start at the highest altitude in that I think that there's maybe two different types of conversations that I would have depending on where somebody's at. There are sometimes that people come forward like your friend and they don't have any sort of spiritual agenda. It's just kind of, they look in themselves and they're struggling. And so I think for that person, honestly, one of the best things you could do generally is to not go about this alone. Man, people are hurting bad. And when we have certain lies that rattle around in our brain, they really begin to dig some teeth into reality, our perception of reality, when we don't verbalize them out loud or when we're with people. And so I think for someone that just is struggling in general, I would encourage them to reach out to somebody that they look up to, somebody that they find has a certain degree of stability in their life and would say, hey, could you just help me in some ways, because at the end of the day, I want all human beings, regardless of their background, geography, all sorts of that, to be flourishing human beings. We don't want to lose people to early death, right? And so if that's you in this podcast, I mean, I would go on a walk with you, you know, if someone's listening to this, or DM the, Jag or whoever it might be. That's like the first thing that I'd want to say is like to not do the pursuit of meaning alone. That's like one of the big things.
Love that.
But then I think if someone is coming and they're like, I'm really interested in starting my faith journey, I think it goes without being said that you also shouldn't do that alone, that you should do that in community. So if you happen to know somebody that is a Christian, has been walking with God for some time, that'd be a great person to reach out to and ask for wisdom of how to kind of do this. The next kind of part of it would be beginning to read the Bible. If like you said, I agree that by, our faith in God is like a relationship, and that there is us talking to God and God talking to us, and God has preeminently spoken to us, speaks to us through his word. And so my encouragement for people would be, if you want to know what God has to say about you, about life, about the world, than to begin reading the Bible like you talk about. Start reading through the book of Mark. Start reading through the book of John. You can even download the Bible app, YouVersion, and they've got great Bible reading plans that are on there.